Tervetuloa. Welcome to Tyrdom. So today I want to talk a bit about a Finnish word that means quite a lot to me. And many of you know that I'm half Finn, half Swede on my father's side. And the word I want to talk about today is the word Väki. And in oral culture, it translates to something like force. But it's not any force. It's the force that seeps through everything here in life and in death. And in old Finnish culture, which is tightly intertwined into Nordic European culture, the word Väki was not a fictional thing. It was a part of life in the old days and still is in many aspects of life. And the Väki was seen as a living force, a living presence, if you will. And every man carried the Väki within him. And I want to talk about this and how this is very, very relevant to us who are the living of our ancestors today. And you can divide the word Väki into four different entities, if you will. The first Väki is the Ihmisen Väki, or Ihmisen Väki. It's the human force, basically, the life force, if you will, of the living. And that's where you find your inner strength, the perseverance and resilience that the Finns are very known for. It's also tightly associated with sisu, which is I guess the most known Finnish word in the world. And the Väki, the Ihmisen Väki, is one of those things that if you don't try in life, you will weaken this Väki. So it's very important for you as a man to do your best, or else you will weaken the life force within yourself. And the Finns were, known in the old times for being able to control magic and the spiritual side of life. And many traveled to Finland to empower their Ihminen Väki, their human life force, before battle or, challenges in life. The other Väki that we need to talk about, it's the Metsän Väki, the forest force. And much like the Norse believed in the forces of nature, the Finns had their Metsän Väki as well. And they didn't think that the forest was just a place for resources. It was a living being that seeped with energies from both the living and the dead. And you can, until this very day, a Northern European is very particular when it comes to nature. We have a very deep respect for it. That's why we don't shout in the forest. We don't pollute in the forest. And we have this saying, you leave the forest the way you found it. And this is very, very relevant when we're talking about the Metsän Väki, I would say. You respect the Metsän Väki because it's your mother nature, if you will. Then we have the Veden Vaky. the water force, the streaming force of life. And water has always had a vital place in all types of paganism, and it could heal you, and it could cleanse you, and it could destroy you. It was it's a force that was, depending on its mood, it can have different types of powers, so to speak. And there's an old saying that only fools treated water carelessly, and the Veden Väki was a force to be reckoned with, so you always treated it with respect. Then we have the Kalman Väki. For you who have listened to my intro music, you can hear them sing about Hyve Kalma. And it's the ancestral force, or the force of the dead, the people that lived before you, your ancestors. And the dead didn't disappear. They became present in your life, and they were guiding you through life. And I often talk about, that everything is being energy, and this is no different. So, as you can see, we have in the Norse culture, I've talked about the fylgja, or your spirit that follows you and protects you. And this is, the Kalman Väki is very, very similar, because it protects you and guides you through life. And no one that is remotely serious can't find the connections between Norse and Finnish mythology, because obviously the exchange between this culture has been vast throughout thousands of years. And I promise I will revisit this, because this is a special interest of mine, of course. And also the Kalman Väki is also what connects you to your ancestry. And it demands from you that you live with honor, and you that you live with aim, I would say. Because if you live aimlessly, you will weaken this connection and life force as the Kalman Väki gives you. So it's very, very important. And for you who have read your Norse history, and maybe Finnish history, you know that the Norse respected the Finns deeply. Even though they raided the Finns sometimes, and the Finns raided the Norse, for that matter, but more often than not, the Norse attacked the Finns. They had a very deep respect for the Finns, since they controlled spirituality and magic. And it was very, very common that Viking men took Finnish wives because of the protection it gave them. And they saw the Finns as the masters of the unseen world. And they saw a people who lived in tune with the energies of both the living and the dead. So they had great respect for the Finns. And I think it's hard actually to find a more mythological people than the Finns, and rightfully so. They've survived the harshest of the harshest environments, and the only way to survive it was to control your Vakis, I would say. And like I said, I had a Finnish father, I had a Finnish grandmother thereby, and she told me stories about my Finnish heritage. And there's something with the Northern European connection that I find absolutely... It's hard to actually put words to it, but we need to, find back, and that's actually why I'm doing this, because people deserve to know, and people deserve to reconnect with their ancestry. And I happen to know that some people on this that follow my channel actually have Finnish heritage as well. And in order to understand the Northern European pagan societies and roots, you have to talk about the Finns, because they are instrumental to it. And I think there's something to be said about the Finnish mindset. The quiet mindset that has been forged in frost, and very, very disciplined people that knew the importance of heritage and taking care of that heritage as well. And I guess what I'm trying to do here and trying to tell you is that this ancestry flows through everything. And that's why I think it's so important to, touch the ancestral grounds, to understand your heritage, to learn from the elders. And, they tell us that modern men oftentimes are lonely. I beg to differ, because if you actually reconnect with your ancestry, you're not alone. You have the lineages behind you. And it's up to you whether you disconnect from it or not. And I do strongly believe that you somewhat carry the previous generations within you, and they're just waiting to be unlocked. I sure know that I have reconnected with them, and when you do, you can feel it in your very fibers of your body. So find your inner Väki, and I promise you will become a better man. That's all for today. Have a lovely one. Talk to you later. Tyrdom out.